Dr. Ken Witty, how can I boost my IQ?
Well, kiddo, that is a really stupid question. But anyway, I will answer it in a minute.
Alpha, Omega, Kinetic, Energy, stupid questions, answer cleverly.
Welcome, my smarties. To understand how you can improve your IQ, first we need to take a peek into how all this smart stuff works. Come with me into the world of clever folks. Imagine this. At the tender age of 18 months, you're flipping through the New York Times like it's your favorite bedtime story. By 6, you're breezing through 8 languages: English, Latin, Greek, French, Russian, German, Hebrew, and Armenian. And guess what? You don't stop there. You go on to create your own language called Vendagood. Sounds unbelievable, right? But believe it or not, this is the story of William James Sidis. He was a child prodigy back in the early 1900s, hailed as one of the smartest people ever to walk the planet. They say his IQ ranged between 250 and 300. But that they don't teach you in school, do they? Well, kiddo, let me enlighten you about this IQ business. The Intelligence Quotient, IQ, is basically a fancy number that measures how smart you are compared to others your age. They cook it up using tests that check your brain skills like logic, language smarts, imagining stuff in your head, and solving problems. Now here's the kicker. It's like a bell curve, meaning most folks hover around average with an IQ of 100. But you've got outliers too, with some folks way up high and others down low. Isaac Newton. Legend has it his IQ was around 190. Your IQ can shift around during your life, and it's handy for guessing how well you might do in school or work. Plus, it helps spot where you're strong and where you might need a hand. And get this, you can actually nudge your IQ up a bit, but I'll tell you how to do that later. The whole IQ thing started back in early 1900s France with Alfred Binet and his pal Theodore Simon. They cooked it up to spot kids who needed a bit more help in school. Their first IQ test, it measured something they called mental age. Basically, if a 10-year-old cracked problems a typical 12-year-old could handle, their mental age was 12. Quite interesting, huh? If you're itching to know what your IQ is, well, kiddo, you can fork out anywhere from $50 to $200 and get yourself tested by a psychologist. They'll put your brain through its paces and tell you where you stand on the smart scale. Oh, and if you're on a budget, there are those online tests floating around too, but they're not as spot on as the real deal with a shrink. Well, kiddo, if you're not keen on shelling out for a psychologist, I can give you a few clues that might suggest you've got a higher IQ. Sleep. Do you love burning the midnight oil and sleeping in? Studies say folks with higher IQs tend to be night owls and sleep in later compared to those with lower IQs. Color of your eyes. Here's a fun one. Research suggests that folks with lighter eye colors like blue or green might ace tasks that need planning and strategic thinking. On the flip side, those with darker eyes might shine brighter in quick reaction and reflex tasks. Your sibling. Ever notice that firstborns often seem sharper? Research points out that firstborn kids often notch up higher IQ scores than their younger siblings. Maybe it's the extra attention from parents or the role they play in the family. Gender. Now, statistically speaking, there's no big IQ gap between men and women on average. But here's a twist. Men tend to hog the extremes, popping up more often with really low or sky-high IQs. Now check this out. All these traits fit someone like Albert Einstein to a T. Believe it or not, Einstein was actually a firstborn, and get this, reports say he burned the midnight oil quite often. Not exactly a morning person. As you surely all know, he revolutionized physics with his theory of relativity, shaking up our understanding of space, time, and gravity. This guy basically rewrote the rules of the universe. His work earned him the Nobel Prize and made him a household name synonymous with genius. Some reckon his IQ was anywhere from 160 to 190. Now, that's what I call a brainiac. Your ears. Some smarty pants studies have found a connection between being good with musical tones and having a higher IQ. Absolute pitch. That's when you can nail a note's frequency or name right off the bat. No need for a comparison. Famous musicians like Ludwig van Beethoven and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, they had that absolute pitch knack. Mozart, the Wonder Kid, started tickling the ivories at 3 and composed his first known piece, Allegro in G major, by the time he was 5. They say Mozart's IQ ranged from about 150 to 165. Now, that's what I call talent and brains. Knowledge is power, and the mighty shall fear you. Now, we've been talking about a lot of brainy folks who've been pushing up daisies for ages. If you peek out the window, you might think humanity's heading towards a total brain drain. But guess what? Statistically speaking, it's quite the opposite. The average IQ among the population has been on the rise worldwide throughout the 20th century, thanks to what's called the Flynn effect. This boost is chalked up to better schooling, nutrition, health, and other environmental factors. Well, kiddo, now we get to the real question. What can you do to boost your IQ? It's important to grasp that IQ is a pretty stable measure of smarts and not something you can just bump up easily. Here are some ways folks try. Mental challenges. Keeping your brain on its toes with puzzles, learning new skills, or diving into strategic games can keep you mentally sharp. Physical health. Eating right, staying active, and getting enough shut-eye can support your brain power. Mental well-being. Handling stress and staying emotionally balanced can also optimize your cognitive skills. Education. Keep learning and stimulating your mind to boost your thinking ability. Reading and learning. Regularly diving into tough reads or academic stuff can expand your knowledge and boost your brain power. But trust me, it's no cakewalk. If you succeed, congrats! You might just end up living longer too. There's evidence suggesting that folks with higher IQs tend to be healthier and live longer lives. Probably because they make smarter lifestyle choices. So, next time you wonder why I'm so old, now you know the answer. Well, that wraps it up, Brainiacs. We've explored how IQ works, from child prodigies to famous minds like Einstein and Mozart. Remember, IQ is stable but can be influenced by mental challenges, health, and continuous learning. Keep those brains buzzing, stay curious, and you might just uncover more of your own genius. Until next time, keep watching Ken Witty's videos and stay smart. Well, kiddo, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more interesting videos like this, leave a like and subscribe to this channel. You don't want to die stupid, do you? And feel free to ask more questions in the comments down below.